Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Ted Schadler. I'm Vice President and Principal Analyst at Forrester Research, and I'm honored to be joined on stage today with three people that have implemented and have experience with Microsoft real-time collaboration and with Lync. They're here to share their experiences with you, to give you some sense of what the impact is. So I'd like to start actually by asking you to share a fact or two about your organization and really the key business challenge you are facing that Lync helped you solve. And Earl, actually, why don't we start with you?
Sure, thanks, Ted. I'm Earl Newsom from Estee Lauder. We're a global leader in luxury beauty products. We have over 25 brands in over 150 countries. And as such, as a retailer of global luxury beauty, we're actually seeing the digital age actually beginning to impact the way our customers interact with us. In order for us to respond to that digital age, we need to build a modern workplace which actually accelerates the digital evolution for us.
Great, thank you so much. Juan, why don't you tell us what you're doing down in the Dominican Republic?
We had to face a challenge where we had to go from a few hundred users to 1,000 users, and keeping the budget in place. We have to remember we're the Minister of Education, so not a technology company. So we have to innovate with with the implementation, and we have to integrate. So what we chose Lync due to the fact that it allows us to bring people in at a low cost, reuse what we already have by implementing software on the computer and allowing that computer to become not only a computer but a workstation where you have everything that you need from your office applications to your phone application. So that was the challenge that we accomplished using Lync.
So this Bill Gates vision actually comes true for you. You take an existing PC and able to turn it into a collaboration communication device.
That is correct.
Excellent. That's a great story. Brenda, thanks for joining us. You've come from Germany. Why don't you share a little bit about your organization and the key challenge you're facing here?
Sure. Herrenknecht, I work at Herrenknecht Group as a CIO. Herrenknecht Group, there's about 3,100 people working there in more than 60 subsidiaries and affiliated companies. Herrenknecht is world market leader in tunneling systems and designing, manufacturing, and selling these globally throughout the world. We've had the challenge on the Asian Pacific market where we have several subsidiaries. It's a very strong market. And the CFO, Eric Bouchard, of the headquarters in Singapore, came up to me and said, we have to reduce costs on the one hand, and on the second, we want to raise our productivity. And this is where we used OCS at that time in Lync to really help him out.
Wow, very, very interesting. So Chris mentioned the Forrester study, and in it we certainly found savings from things like PBX replacement and whatnot, but you also have achieved other benefits, and I'm hoping you'll share a few of those with us. Perhaps, Juan, you could drill into a few of the benefits you've seen in adopting Lync.
The benefit of adopting Lync as a means of communication, it came when we have to implement, we have about 8,000 principals, school principals. So we have to provide them some tools so they can work. We provide them with a laptop and a 3G connection and allow them to have Lync on that laptop with a 3G connection. We give them mobility, but we also give them not just a place so they can actually go to work. So they can take, wherever they go, they can actually communicate with the peers.
They can connect, they can find and collaborate with each other wherever they are.
That was what we tried to accomplish, and we did using Lync.
Wow, that's so interesting. And Earl,
Yeah, let me jump on that because I think it's very important because, with, 150 countries and over 25 brands and, brands that you all recognize like Estee Lauder, Clinique, MAC, La Mer, et cetera, as we think about how we actually have to operate in that new world, what we use Lync to do is to really embody the experiment of the digital marketplace and the digital workplace. We try to deliver on the principle that work is something that you do and not a place that you go. And that principle in and of itself really allows for us to create that collaborative work environment where location is less determinant of the work that you actually do. So across 150 countries with over 30,000 employees, we're able to unleash the creativity and the innovation of our company.
So it really unlocks and allows people to connect in ways regardless of where they are, so they become location agnostic. They don't care where they're working from. But there's some additional benefits, Brenda, you were sharing with us about using the Lync product and some of the integration with some of your suppliers and some of your other systems. I hope you can share some of those benefits and impacts with our audience as well.
Sure. Since we're a manufacturing company, we also have different design departments all over the world. So we do need an infrastructure already where we can collaborate upon. So what we did is we shifted actually our mobile costs and the costs that have been created through PBX onto this existing infrastructure, making it possible to get the benefits there on the one hand. Additionally, we provided video conferencing to the internal use as well as for suppliers and consultants that work on projects together with us. And also we're able to provide the productivity that was asked for at the end of the day, and the people are really excited about it.
Yeah, so communication forms the foundation for this collaborative enablement that allows the workforce to work productively and connect with each other. And as you know, of course, a small benefit can have a big impact on the bottom line as people drive forward.
Yeah, let me jump on that too, because I think there's a pretty interesting point there, because one of our kind of principles is that we think that we want to imagine the future, then innovate to achieve it, and then integrate to make it happen on a day-to-day basis. And integration of all these various technologies, as I heard Bill and others talk about, is we're not only integrating Link to try to connect people, but we're using Office, we're using SharePoint, we're using all the Microsoft suite to actually create this new modern workplace for our employees to operate and innovate in.
So this integration comes up a lot. I'm sure many of you are wrestling with the best-of-breed versus integrated approach. We do have some experience here. Please, Juan.
Yeah, one of the things we've done on the integration part is we took Service Manager, one of the tools that you have with Configuration Manager, to manage all the network and all the computers, and we implemented Service Manager integrated with SharePoint, and now the user can open a ticket on SharePoint. That ticket goes up to the agent or the technician, and that technician can actually see if the person is online, click on it, call them, and actually share the desktop, fix the problem without moving himself and relocating himself or going to the user. He can do it right from the desk where he's at right now.
So benefit comes directly from integration.
Okay, so integration is very interesting, and I think there are very different ways of looking at integration, and I want to pick it with the presence information because I believe you cannot overestimate the value of presence. If you take this presence information and you're able to really integrate it into an environment that really fits smoothly together, for instance, you'd have the emails, which is more or less a business content. If you have the SharePoint sites or the internet sites that you're collaborating on, if you have the project plans and you have this presence information everywhere, even on your mobile phone, that's when it really kicks in that the people say, well, I'm going to use this because I'm in the business content right there. So that's when, from my point of view, this integration benefit is that it's 1 + 1 = 3 kind of effect.
Yeah, that's amazing. I'd like to ask our audience a question here, so out of the blue, so with apologies. How many of you, by a show of hands, think that presence is going to be a critical piece of infrastructure in your organizations going forward? Almost all of you. Good, good. Well, I certainly believe that. I believed it for a long time. It's great to hear how it's making a difference in your organization.
And I want to add on to that because I think that's an interesting concept here, because I'm thinking about the cost of collaboration. If we think about, we're moving from an economy that moved at internet speed, and now we're moving at digital speed. And moving at digital speed means the cost of collaboration and actually making that connection as fast as you possibly can becomes increasingly more important. Yeah. Because if we compete on a global market, we need to react on a global market, and we move at this digital speed.
So you're really, you're talking about the business impact of the real-time tool set and the Link product. Yeah, absolutely. Please.
I mean, absolutely, because I think it's the real-time impact and to be able to react and to think and actually communicate in real time and then be able to respond to those customer demands, wherever they may come from, whether partners, customers, employees, or consumers. We want to be react to those things in real time.
Yeah. Please, Juan, anything you want to share to that?
On the same line, we actually have the same thing. We have multiple locations. So allowing teachers, allowing principals to share the stories with different communities, and what worked on their school might work in another school where they're totally separated physically. That allows them, this link has allowed them to share the stories across the country.
So it bridges the gap between the physical gap, the location space between them, allowing them to work together.
Yeah.
In any global enterprise, this is clearly an issue as well. Any final thoughts on this one, Werner?
Well, if you're talking about looking for benefits for your business, if you're in charge of technology, I think UC is a hot spot to look at. And the good news actually is if you're looking at technology, technology is not the problem anymore. Technology works very well, and you see wonderful devices there that we also use, and they really work well. And Microsoft also provided the product that really works well in that concern. At the end of the day, if you're trying to implement this project, it's about the people actually that you're trying to provide this new technology to. So you have to sit together with these people very carefully and listen exactly what they want and what they don't want. So we really paid a lot of attention by choosing the right devices that the users, the end users really want and that they're willing to use. If you don't have that, technology by itself won't help.
Yeah, I think we'll let that be our closing thought here. Thank you so much for sharing. Thanks for joining us on stage today.
So much. Great job. Thanks so much for being here. Well done. Thank you so much for your time. Carl, thanks so much. Great job. So again, always great to hear from real-world customers, their excitement for this space and what they're doing to use software-powered communications to really bring their workforce or their organization forward.